everybody. Welcome to All That Matters and More. Ikamala Mududu.
And I'm Komiki. And welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Before we dive right into it, we have to give you guys a bit of a disclaimer. The content that we do and I will be providing is for entertainment, educational, and informative purposes.
Yes, guys. The information, opinions, as well as recommendations provided by us should be by no means considered as medical or professional.
Yeah. Today we're talking all about children.
Yes, guys. I mean, obviously, the theme for the month is depression.
Yeah.
So today we're highlighting depression in minors.
Yes.
So I think before we dive into it, we need to establish what is a minor. So a minor is someone under the age of 18 years old, and that's by South African law.
Yeah. So that means that, guys, you still have to get consent from your parents. You still live under your parents' guardianship until obviously you've reached 18.
Yes, guys. And the purpose of this, topic is that a lot of kids, as much as we kengwana, but a lot of kids are facing a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
Academic pressure, social pressure, and they're constantly trying to fit in. Not leaving out adolescent stage,
Yeah.
where, hey, ba moody,
Yeah, no, I hear you.
They're so moody, and it reaches a point where the moodiness, it's not just like a normal moodiness, but actually leads to depression.
And I think you're right with saying that, because then with children are obviously still developing, developmentally, like physically, emotionally.
Their bodies are changing, hormones as well.
So I think that, like you said, now imagine dealing with all of that and then all the pressures that come with life, unfortunately, as a kid, So there's just certain things that we would like to make everybody aware of, just so that they can pick out and look out for. And then obviously, like, how they can make sure it doesn't get to a point where now it's overwhelming the child and the parent.
And I think mostly it's like for the parents, because a lot of parents don't know how to deal with the depressed minor.
Yeah.
Umntwana now does not want to come back home. They're not sleeping at home.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to drink, substance abuse and stuff like that. And now kids are having sex, at a minor age.
Yeah.
So it's also those things. How can now parents step in and try to be on the same level as their kids to understand what the child is actually going through without now badgering them or babashaya? Because beating up a child does not work, guys. It does not help.
Yeah. And I also think that then they will be able to also differentiate and understand that my child is possibly going through depression. These are the signs that I've looked out for. Okay, now I can actually go seek help, and then take it forward. So what would you say are like the major signs where you are like, okay, maybe I need to now start monitoring my child closely because they potentially have depression?
Yeah. I think for me, one of the biggest one, and it should be a highlight in every parent's book.
Yeah.
When your child's school grades start to drop.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying now they're dropping 5%, a significant drop.
Yeah.
Lapo, you need to be concerned as umzali. What can I do? What's happening? Why umntwana? And also the teachers themselves in school, when they're noticing these significant drops in the child's grades, communicate it with the parents early on. Don't communicate it at the end of the year, in final exam, but make it a point that it's something that as soon as it starts, the parents can actually pay attention to it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think another one is actually like, because kids are developing, like, guys, like constantly in the store, outside, wherever they are, they just always want to be physical. So immediately when a child has lost interest in that, they necessarily don't want to do sport. Obviously, the teenagers don't want to do sport. The little kids, they don't want to go out and play. Then I think that's also a massive sign. Because obviously, the more physical they are, the better, because their body's still developing,
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. What I'd add on to that as well is when a child becomes violent.
Yeah.
More, especially in infants, and I know people could say it's rare for someone under 7 or like under 14 to be depressed and stuff like that. But we need to remember that some of the home situations are not as healthy as we'd like them to be. So pay attention to violent kids. And now when the violence starts to be harmful to other individuals as well. So now if he starts beating up other kids, or he wants to burn other kids and stuff like that, or umntwana manje sekashaya wonke umuntu is fighting with the parents, with the grandparents, That's something you need to look out for.
Yeah.
As well as, what am I forgetting?
Like we always say, isolation, that still applies.
Yes.
Isolation, loneliness, sadness.
Constant sadness.
Yeah, and I think one thing that you also, one thing that when you and I were obviously discussing this topic and writing down notes, is that you were also saying how sometimes when children are talking, parents need to also start listening very attentively.
Mm-hmm.
And then from listening attentively, parents now need to separate what the child is saying. Okay, fine. Am I picking up signs that are going to be harmful to my child, or is
yeah. Because some kids tend to romanticize suicide.
Yeah.
Like, it's as if suicide is like the coolest thing to ever happen. Or now they want to start cutting themselves.
Yeah.
They start burning their inner thighs. Like, it's a way to deal, it's a way to heal. And it's like a cool story to actually tell your mates. Guys, that's not a cool story. And I get other persons on who don't want to be too personal around their kids, like to check if there's any markings or... but I feel like, for me, if they still live under your roof,
you have every right.
You have every right.
Yeah.
So I think parents need to look at that. As well as... when they start being too much on their phone, guys.
You think so?
Babe, I was reading on it. Babe, 2 minutes social media.
Okay,
2 minutes. Like, they're not doing anything.
That's how they start to pick up mostly on the influences instead of actually realizing the outside. Like, let me go play. Let me go have a social interaction, so that I can develop. Okay, I hear you. Definitely parents pick up on that one.
I think also social media is just bad for kids, So now, how do we say after parents have picked up these signs? Because I know a lot of parents right now in South Africa are facing such challenges with their kids. So what do we say to them to say, hey, you're picking up on these signs, what's the best way forward? Because at the same time, but instead you want them to come closer.
I think, you know what? All of the things that we practice as adults, Vicky and I are going to mention, because pretty much that's everything. Open communication. If I in this situation, I need to go tell my mom. I need to go tell my dad. I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then I guess that's what then children resort to, let me just go on my phone. Oh, okay, this person did that, So open communication is so effective. Then the child will know that they were also well supported. And not just only that, but then they can go talk to their parents, and their parents will be able to help them effectively.
And to also open up, guys, so that a kid should never be fearful of umzali. Respect is one thing, fear is another.
Yeah.
As a parent, you should never want to instill fear, but what you want to do for your child is to support and encourage them. And when I'm talking about this in this topic, it's just to basically say, encourage your child to have personal social interactions.
Definitely, yeah.
So basically, go out, meet up with family, meet up with friends, you spend time with your child and have those difficult conversations, guys, because now a lot of parents are fearful of talking to their kids about sex, whereas the best time to learn about it is at home.
Yeah.
They're afraid to talk about alcohol or substance abuse, and the best time is to have that open communication with your child to address the situations and how you would like them to conduct themselves in public spaces.
And I think another thing would be teaching emotions and learning how to help your child regulate through emotions, Like, for example, I see you had a bad day. You're feeling sad. Yeah. How are you feeling? Regulating and teaching emotions is so important because we as human beings as well, we have to regulate our emotions, You can't always you want to snap. Yeah. So teaching your children how to regulate their emotions effectively and also understanding your child. And, okay, cool, my child, it hurts him. Or he's a little bit confused.
Be attentive.
Yeah,
be an attentive
as well, yeah. So I think that ties in very nicely with that.
That really ties in. And I think if you know that you can't deal with your child, the best thing is to seek professional help.
Yes.
Because therapists, psychologists, social workers are put into place to assist you with your kids in places that you feel like you can't. And the nice thing about that is that in therapy, they also bring you in as a parent in therapy to express how you feel and how to work on those open communication lines with your child so that your child understands you and you're able to understand what they are going through as a teen in school and whether they're being bullied and stuff like that. Because the last resort, you know, you'd never want your child to end up committing suicide. I think that's
definitely, I hear you. When you could have prevented it, actually.
when you could have prevented
And another
it.
thing would be consistency, guys. Consistency. Pick up on your child's behavior. Don't just do it this week because your child is acting a little bit funny and you really don't know what's going on. Then you're like, next week they cool. Pick up on it. Okay, fine. My child is acting weird this week. Next week again. Just regular checkups on your child. You don't necessarily have to tell them, but as long as you know that you're doing it, you obviously, like you said, prevent.
To prevent. Prevention is better than
Prevention.
Yes, guys, I think that's it from us. I hope this was very informative and very useful to a lot of parents.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, being a parent is one of the most difficult jobs in the world. And it's not easy, and we can never judge one on how they handle their children. You know, more especially when it comes to minors. Those people can, And yes, guys, if there's any questions that you'd like to ask us, you can definitely email us on imatterandmore@gmail.com.
Yes, guys. Also, if you have any comments, any suggestions, anything you guys would like us to talk about regarding mental health or a mental illness, please definitely DM us on Instagram at Matters and More.